Here comes the bride, all dressed in white. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I decided to create this bridal makeup look. I've used sort of like a deep aubergine color on my eyelids and I really love it. It's for the bride that's not scared of color, that wants to look quite glamorous and just a bit non-traditional, because a lot of the bridal looks are very pink. Yeah, I would definitely rock this look. Really like it. The things to remember with bridal makeup is that first and foremost, it has to suit the bride. There's no point picking a look in a magazine that you like and it just doesn't look right for you. You should be wearing the look. The makeup look should not be wearing you. So that's fundamental. And then a few other things to think about is to make sure the makeup is long lasting. So you're going to need things like primers, long wearing foundations, powders if your skin is not super dry, and some makeup setting spray. I also like to use waterproof mascara on the eyes, so when the brides get teary, they don't end up looking like pandas. And lipstick as well. You've got to have lipstick that you can touch up during the day. So those are the main things. I'll be talking through this whole makeup look, so please keep on watching to learn how to create it. And as usual, don't forget to subscribe, like, and drop me a comment down below. So let's get this look started. First of all, I've just popped this on my hair, just a piece of card and then a clip, and it just stops there being a dent in my hair because I've already curled it. I'm gonna go on to my eyelids. So I've already got some eyelid primer on, and then I'm gonna pop some concealer onto it. You don't have to do this. This is a double insurance. Usually if you put some concealer down and you set it, you don't really need to use primer, but I want double insurance. This is a bride. This is a wedding after all. So you want that makeup to last. Now I'm just going in with a little stiff concealer brush and I am blending it all onto my eyelid. I'm gonna set that concealer with a M441 brush from Morphe. I'm just putting some translucent powder on this brush and just lightly setting that. And it just creates the perfect base for eyeshadows so that they don't crease. So for the eyes, I'm gonna go in with this brown color. This is the Morphe Dare to Create palette, and I love this palette. It's one of my most used palettes, really pigmented colors, and it's really affordable. I'm of the opinion that bridal makeup does not have to be particularly expensive as such. There's products on the market for every budget, but Morphe shadows are good. You really can't go wrong with that. So I'm using a MAC 224 brush just to put this into my transition area. I'm just using very little pressure just to blend it in. Next I'm going in with this really dark sort of aubergine color, and I'm using a shader brush from Crown just to pack this color onto the eyelid. When you're happy with the intensity of the color, I want mine quite intense, so I've really packed on a lot. I'm going to go in with a MAC 217 brush just to smooth out the edges between the lid color and the transition color. And I'm not using a lot of pressure, just little strokes just to blend everything in so there's this beautiful transition of colors. And this is quite a simple bridal look, like literally I'm just using two colors, that's about it. So it's perfect for brides if you have to do your makeup by yourself, which a lot of brides do these days. You just have to practice a lot so that you are ready on the day, because it can be stressful in the morning of a wedding, so you want to be sure that you can do your makeup look without thinking. As usual, I'm going in with my favorite Inglot AMC gel liner in the shade 77. I'm using a MAC 210 brush for this, just to line my upper eyelids. I'm not doing a wing today because I just don't think this look really needs it, but you can do a wing if you want to. Just gonna put on my lashes. These are super fluffy. It's the Huapan Eye Collection that I've recently discovered from Amazon. So I'm just waiting for the lash glue to dry. I'm just going to do this off camera because it's super stressful putting on lashes on camera. So my lashes are on. They are hella glamorous. I didn't realize just how intense that they are. So yeah, they're pretty extra. But I think this look anyways is for a bride that's a bit extra, so it's okay. Anyways, let's move on to some skin. I've already got the Bare Minerals Primetime primer all over my face, but I really want to mattify my T-zone because that gets oily. So I'm using the Becca Evermatte Poreless Priming Perfector, which is quite a mouthful. This is a super heavy duty primer. I'd only recommend it if you have really oily skin. Otherwise, it could just suck the life out of your skin. And one of the keys with bridal makeup is that it has to be long lasting. So I find this is one of those primers where I rarely have to do much except block my T-zone during the day. It really does control oil really, really well. So as what I usually do is I put a layer of powder, translucent powder. So that's my setting powder. I'm going to put that on my T-zones just to further absorb any excess oil that might peek through as the day goes on. And I'm just using a dry beauty blender for this, and I'm just pushing it into the skin. And you can probably see these sort of white crusty bits there. That's just the primer when it dries, and if you've done like a thick layer, that's when you'll see it look like this. But thankfully the foundation should cover this, so it should be completely fine. Then I'm going in with my usual foundation mix of the Bare Minerals Bare Pro and a foundation mixer by NYX, just to darken it a little bit. I really like that this foundation is, just putting it on the back of my hand, is very long wearing. It really does last all day, and that's what you want for a bridal foundation. It's got to be suited to your skin type, and it should last you all day. I'm going to go in with a Real Techniques Expert face brush just to put that foundation all over my face. So starting with the center of the face, I'm just stippling it in first because I've got powder underneath, so I don't want to rub it, otherwise I'll move that powder around, which you do not want. And as you can see, my face is darker than the rest of my body, and I'm trying to get my foundation to match my neck. And this is more important because I'm going to wear sort of a top afterwards that is off shoulder, so you want your foundation to be uniform, one color. And a lot of dark skinned women do have this problem where they've got a bit of hyperpigmentation on their faces, so whenever you're trying to shade match, always look at the neck. That's one of the giveaways as to what shade of foundation you need to aim for. So foundation is on. I'm going to go in and highlight the high points of my face. I'm going in with the Maybelline Anti-Age Eraser Concealer. Because it's not quite the right shade, I'm going to go in with the LA Girl Pro Conceal in the shade Fawn, just for a little bit more brightness, and that sort of gets me closer to the color of my neck and chest area. So just blending it in with a damp beauty blender. Going back in with that same concealer brush I used on my eyelid just to blend in the concealer just above my brows, because it can be difficult to get into this area with a beauty blender, I find. So just using kind of stippling motions just to get that blended in. I'm going back in again with my foundation brush just on the edges of that concealer, so it blends in a little bit better with the foundation, because you want it to be as flawless as possible. No harsh lines. I'm going to just cream contour quickly using the L'Oreal Infallible Stick Foundation. Just a little bit on my forehead, not a lot. And angle of my jaw. I'm using a MAC 188S just to blend everything in. Right, so the contour is done, so I'm going to go in and now set the concealer. I'm just using a translucent powder. This is by Huda Beauty. Don't worry, all the links are going to be down below. So just setting now that concealer. Also just setting my smile lines. I'm going to go set my face with the Revolution baking powder. I'm using a big fluffy brush by Real Techniques for this. So just setting everywhere else where there's no concealer. And just squeezing the brush, going down either sides of my nose just lightly contour it. I'm also sweeping away that excess powder I put down as well. Now, because this is a special occasion, I'm going to go in and contour a little bit more. So I'm using an eyeshadow by Bobbi Brown. I believe this is the shade Rich Brown, just to contour, especially just my cheekbones. And this has quite a cool undertone. If I put too much of this on, it can actually look quite ashy. So I don't know if you can appreciate it there. But it just adds a little bit more of a shadow. Then I'm going to go in and bronze over this, and that's what's going to bring back the warmth. I'm going to go in with my Revolution bronzer, and this is the Real Techniques. This is the Rebel Edge brush. Just discovered that this brush is fantastic for bronzer, because I was finding some of my other brushes were just too heavy in application, but this tends to put down just the right amount of product. So again, I'm just actually going to slightly go over that contour as well, but it just brings back warmth into my face. Because after you put down concealer and powder, you can start looking super light, and I do not want to look over light. And forehead as well. I'm going to go back in again just with the MAC 224. I'm just going to try to contour a little bit, just either side of right up the top of my nose. Oh, put too much on. This thing is so pigmented, you really don't need a lot. So to finish off my eyes, I'm going to first tightline. I'm using the Inglot Kohl pencil, just in the shade 1. I'm just going to put that right on my waterline. And you want to find a pencil that will not run if you get emotional. It's obviously weddings are super emo, so you need stuff that's just not going to run if the bride cries. Then using a smudge brush from Anne Other Stories, I'm going to go in with the same color I used on my main eyelid, just on the lower lash line. You don't have to do this step, but I just like to cover up the little lines underneath my eyes. And I have big eyes, so I can get away with it, but it's probably not the best look for people with smaller eyes. You can kind of close your eyes up. I'm going to go back in with the brown color I used as my transition, and I'm just going to use that color just to blend out the lower border of this color so it just doesn't look too harsh. For mascara, I'm going with the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara. This mascara is actually waterproof, which is very, very important because, hey, brides cry, so it's good to make sure they're not going to end up looking like a panda. Don't know if you can see that, but I have like this speck of mascara I got there. It often happens when you're doing your lower lids. I'm just going to let it dry. I'm not going to touch it. Otherwise, if I touch it now while it's wet, I'm just going to have a massive smudge. So just leaving it well alone. I think I'm going to go for a pink tone highlighter. So I'm going to go in with the Fenty Beauty, the Moscow Mule, one of my faves. So I'm going to go in the MAC 224, and I'm just going to highlight the high points of my face. I always think brides look nice with just a little bit of shimmer. Not too much, but just enough that it just catches the light. I think it looks really nice in photography as well. So for lips, I'm just going to line it with my MAC lip liner in Chestnut. My everyday liner. Don't know what I would do without it, really. Then for the inner part of my lips, I'm going in with the MAC lip pencil in Spice. And I do find if you want your lipsticks to last a bit longer, put on some lip liners. It makes all the difference. Blending it together first. So for lipstick, I'm going to go in with MAC Half and Half, which is in the amplified finish. I'm just going to go in with a lip brush, just to blend out the lip liner because it's a bit harsh. Okay, that mascara should be dried by now, so I'm just going to flick it off with a wand. It has left, unfortunately, it's a little bit of a shadow. So I'm just going to go in with some concealer and cover up those areas. So for my inner corner highlight, I'm going to go in with the Maybelline. It's the Chrome Extreme highlighter in the Molten Rose Gold color. I just picked this up in a whim from Tesco actually, because I've just heard so many good things about it. And I'm going in with the Real Techniques detailing brush. I've loaded up my brush. I'm just spraying it with some fixing spray because I really want to intensify this color. And just putting that in my inner tear ducts. So I'm just going to blend that in a little bit because it's going to look a bit crazy if I do not. Alright, so it's time for just a little bit of brush. I'm going to use this eyeshadow. Where are we? This orangey toned one. I'm going in with a Crown C522 brush and just dipping it into the eyeshadow and just popping it just on the high points of my cheek. You could go for a pinky toned blush, but I just didn't want this look to be too pink. So I find like an orangey brown generally does the job. Okay, now I'm just going to set and lock everything in with my finishing spray by NYX. It's in a matte finish. It'll also stop everything from looking too powdery. The look is done, and to be honest, I'm going to work now. I'm going to change my outfit and I'm not going to go with this veil, but I hope that you did enjoy watching this video. Thank you so much for watching it, and don't forget to subscribe, like and comment, and I look forward to creating another video for you guys very soon. Bye!